lovely listeners, and welcome back to A Wealthy Life, the podcast that helps you take control of your money, your mindset, your future. I'm your host, Vicky Washay, and in today's episode, I'm speaking to especially the smart, strong women out there who are looking at the news, the market, and the madness. But in fact, while I'm talking to the women, men, you can listen too, because this affects you. There are similar themes, but also you have women in your life that need to hear this episode. So please share with them or listen together. And what I bet you're all wondering, the big question on everyone's lips, is how do I make smart financial decisions right now when everything feels so uncertain? Whether you're already investing, whether that's in the property market, shares, or other asset classes, or you're just starting to look at your money more seriously for the first time, you're in exactly the right place. Because today we're diving into female financial security in 2025, what the risks are, where the opportunities lie, and how to move forward from worry to wealth with clear, actionable steps. Oh, and in case you haven't already listened and watched, I've got a YouTube video out called The Smart Woman's Ultimate Guide to Money and Investing. And with that, you can download an 80-page workbook all for free. And that's going to help you personalize everything that we're going to talk about today. I'll put the link in the show notes for you, but you can just head over there, click on that link, and settle down and watch. So let's start by talking about what's really going on. Let's just name it. The world feels a bit wild and crazy right now, doesn't it? I keep waiting to do this podcast, thinking that things were going to settle down after those first desperate, need to make an impression first 100 days. But let's say it as it is. We've got a new American president. Trump is back in office, and he has spent the last month launching sweeping tariffs and then causing them to be paused. And that massive turbulence and uncertainty is affecting the global markets. Everything from the stock market, which we can see has fallen, but also the bond market, which is really interesting because the bonds, government bonds that governments sell or offer out, are a bit like, I'm going to paraphrase it because it's not exactly right, but how you might buy a share in a company. You'd only buy a share in a company if you felt that that company was going to do well, make a profit. That's the essence of the stock market. Or you buy bonds in a country if you think that country is doing well, if its currency is stable. And the American bond market has been affected. And of course, that ripples out, doesn't it? You might be noticing its effect on your investments. Have you checked your pension lately? Of course, even on your shopping basket, and we're still reeling from all the changes in prices and the impact finally of both Brexit and COVID. Might even be affecting your job. If you are in a business that relies on parts being imported or selling to overseas, you might start to notice it in your jobs. And those jobs already affected by the changes in the British laws, where our Chancellor increased the costs to employers in terms of national insurance and tax. Now, let's be honest, when the world gets loud, women often get nervous, particularly with money. And that's not because we aren't capable, far from it. We're the ones that often hold together our families. It's our ability to budget, to stretch the money, and even be creative that enables us to have food on the table, clothes on our backs. And whether you're the main breadwinner in your family or you have a partner, it's the women that are the ones that are taking on those nurturing and caring roles. And of course, turbulence and change opens the door to fear and worry. And so much of the financial world was built by men, for men, often taught to men, that women are lagging behind in some of the skills and the confidence. And that's why I'm flipping the script. I want to help women become more confident about money, because there's no reason why we shouldn't be, other than nobody's ever said we can be. So the good news is there are always opportunities in uncertain times. And it's a fact. Uncertainty creates opportunity. And that's what we really need to look at. So I'm going to take you through 5 opportunities that I see out there. This is not an endless list, or this list is not a finite list. The opportunities are endless. But let's just pick out some of the key ones that I think that you need to be aware of right at the offset. So there are real bargains out there. You might not be seeing that in your shopping basket at the supermarket, but as the markets wobble, assets, whether it's property, shares, or business, are being repriced. That doesn't mean to say they're broken. It doesn't mean to say they're failing. It just means to say they're on sale. And smart people, smart women who know how to spot value will come out of this wealthier. I'm working with clients at the moment to invest in property, and all 4 are female investors buying either their first or second property in the last 3 to 6 months. So in May, I will complete on 4 brand new investments. Not that the properties are brand new, but 4 new investments for 4 female landlords, because they understand that having that diverse income in their portfolio is really important to them. The second thing that you are going to see on social media, like you wouldn't believe, is the side hustle. And frankly, I'm not into the side hustle. I'm not about grinding for the sake of it. I'm interested in identifying skills that can be leveraged into wealth. What skills do you have? What knowledge and experience? And how could that become an asset to you, a service to others, or an income stream? Understanding the value of your hour and ultimately how to break that link between having to work to pay the bills and effectively de-jobbing yourself is something that I cover in one of my manuals inside the Wealthy Life community. And I've spoken about it before. Check out the past podcasts. All of this information is free, but you need to understand the value of your hour, the value of the skills and the experience that you've got, and what you could leverage into potentially another business, but even better, into an income stream that didn't take a lot of your time, because we don't want to be taking up more of our time. What we want to be doing is creating more money so we can work less hours. And while we're on this topic of education, education's everywhere. This is the best time in history to learn about money, when it's volatile and you can really see it in action. And we can go back in history. Goodness, is it exactly 20 years ago? Let me think. No, about 18 years ago, when we had the global crash. That was it. Do you remember when all of those funny named American banks, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, were falling over, when people were queuing outside the Northern Rock to get their money back out? We don't have to look too far back to see what happens when there is a problem with the money supply. At the moment, it's not about the money supply. It's not that the money has dried up. It's the fact that everybody is scared to lend it to one another because they don't know what's going on in America. And the thing is, you've got to clear out all of that noise. Be aware of it, but it's like you're aware of the sun and the moon and the stars in the sky. What you need to focus on is what's happening right here in your life. And my YouTube video, this podcast, the books that I've written, the Wealthy Life community are all free resources designed to help people like you learn more about money, how it works, of course, but also to understand the mindset of a wealthy life, to clear out the noise so that you can focus on what's important to you. And when you're ready to explore different investment strategies and make your money work harder so you don't have to, it's all here. You just need to subscribe to the podcast. There are 160 odd of them now. You could work your way back through them and get masses of education just by listening to the podcast while you're on your way to work or on your way home or out for a walk, or if you still have to do it, doing the housework. The podcast and the Wealthy Life community are free for you. They are full of resources, and a lot of smart women are already taking advantage of this. So, number 4, I would say that financial services are finally waking up to the female audience. And really, I think you've got to put this in the context of history. We're only about 50 odd years into women really starting to say we want equality with money and with housing and with income and everything else. And so we're starting to see more female focused platforms, more female wealth advisors, and there's more space in the industry for you to belong. And that's great progress. But in reality, if you're not accessing the right information for you, it could actually set you back. You need the information that's going to help you build a financial strategy that's right for you. And that comes with education, confidence, and information. Something that can pull it all together and enable you to both learn and grow and become confident. And that's part of the outcomes from the video that I talk about on YouTube. Confidence is key to this. So while the financial services are waking up, are you waking up? How do you feel? How's your confidence level? If you scored it out of 10, would you be above a 5 if I asked you how confident you felt about money? And if you are below a 7 or an 8, then please watch that video, get some of that education in and start to feel more confident, because then you can take action. Then you can determine who or what platform is the right place for you to get the education that you need, not that someone wants to give you. There's a real difference here. And you need to be clear, and this ties in with point 4, that this is your money and you want to live your life on your terms. And I would say that uncertainty actually gives you that chance to get clear. Because when we're poodling along and everything is fine and money's easy and you can pay the bills okay, and yes, all right, the cost of living has increased, but generally you're doing okay, you're safe, that doesn't encourage you to grow. It doesn't encourage you to change. It encourages you to stay the same. So when we have periods like this of uncertainty, you can start to ask yourself questions. How much do I want to work, frankly? Do I want to still be doing a 5-day-a-week job? Do I still want to work for this company? When and where? How do I want to work? But also, where do I want my money to come from? Am I happy just relying on a monthly income from an employer who could change their mind about me at any moment? Do I want to generate other forms of income to build the life I actually want to live? And I think that's the crux for all of this. It's about clarity, knowing what you want, asking those questions we were never asked. We went to school and they asked us, what do we want to do? What job do we want to do? It was all about the job, because that's school statistics. Nobody ever asked you, how would you like to spend your time? This is your life. I'm going to give you 70, 80, 90, maybe even 110 years. How would you like to spend that time? Now, little caveat, you're going to need some money in order to enjoy it, but how do you want to spend that time? And if you start with that, your wealthy life, what is your ideal life? And you cost it, you can then work out what money you need to generate to live it. And that's the whole point of this podcast. Now, here comes the key bit here. If we are talking about opportunities, there are going to be risks. Aren't there always in life? But there are ways that you can protect yourself. So we've talked about the opportunities. Let's talk about the risks. And I think I would start this section by saying you don't need to be afraid. You just need to be prepared, aware and prepared. That's the key to this. So the first thing, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but inflation will eat into your cash. There's a big discussion going on at the moment whether inflation is going to rise because prices are going to go up. I think the answer is going to be yes, because if there are tariffs being added to things and national insurance on the UK side, the cost of things will go up. Now, normally when that happens, we see things are translated, if you like, in the money world by decisions made by the Monetary Policy Committee. They're the ones that set the Bank of England rate. And so what we could be seeing, and I've spoken about this before, is something called stagnation, where we're not actually growing, but our prices are rising, and then the interest rates need to control that. So it's a really interesting period right now. Now, if inflation goes up, prices go up, it might feel like it's a safe thing to do to have money in a savings account. But actually, your savings could be losing money literally every day, and that's not safety. If your money is earning less interest than the rate of inflation, then even in a savings account, your money will effectively be shrinking. So how do you overcome this? Well, number one, you start a smart emergency fund, a secure fund. You move some of your money into a high rate savings account. Investments, if you already have them, because that's the way that you can beat inflation. High rate savings accounts, and if you feel confident enough, investments will give you a greater rate of return than the rate of inflation. And so your money will be protected. So just imagine this, the rate of inflation is 2 and you're earning 5. So even though everything is going up by 2%, you're earning 5%, you are still earning 3%, the gap in the middle. But if you are only earning 1 or 2% interest and the rate of inflation is 3%, then prices are going up by 3%, but your money is only growing by 2, you can understand how you could be losing money. I would say here is a caveat. With the stock market being volatile, only invest in the stock market when you really understand what you're doing. So it could be that that safe option is simply a higher rate savings account for now, while you get yourself more educated. Because risk number 2 is a panic-driven decision. You might be scrolling, you might see people saying to you, now's the time to invest. But if you don't understand what you're doing, this could be risky. Are you watching the news? I have to say, I do watch the news endlessly. It's almost like one of those sitcoms we see on the telly. What's he done today? So I do watch the news. I don't doom scroll and I don't feel anxious, because what I do is I control the feed that I see. Now, let me just start with this. It's not the time to make dramatic money moves when you don't understand what you're doing. It's not the time to make massive decisions. I had one woman totally panicked, called me when Trump announced the tariffs, and after a few hours on social media, her fear levels were through the roof. So now more than ever, you need to say you're not interested in the hype and the drama of social media. Pick who you follow. Do you follow me on Instagram already? If not, why not? Please do. So be careful about who you follow. Follow people who give clear, fact-driven, practical advice that when they say something, you can go away and Google it on the internet and know that you've got a proper resource that backs it up. And unfollow any of the clickbait drama fluences. Oh, look, a new word, drama fluencers. So those people who are just hyping things up, what you really want to be doing is looking at clear financial advisors. There's been some great bits that I've listened to that have explained economics and finance. And that might not be something that you would say that you were interested in. But actually learning about it right now starts to make sense of what's going on in the world. There are people out there who've gone back through and explained why it is that Trump has put these tariffs up, what's driving that, and of course the consequence, which is the tit for tat tariffs that are going on right now. One way that you can overcome taking panic-driven decisions, apart from managing your social media, is to write a clear money strategy, a financial strategy for yourself. And you stick to it, even when times like this get noisy. The course on YouTube will really help you calm your nerves and help you get to grips with your finances so you can create your own financial plan. And while we're talking about financial plans, let's talk about financial dependence, whether this is on a partner, a job, or your general family setup. Relying on any one source of financial support is a risk. We already know that there's a gender pay gap. We know that there's a pension gap. And we know that we need, as women, to create our own independent pots of money, stroke savings investments. And this is something I talk about a lot in the course, because if something happens, you need independence. That's what gives you confidence to make better decisions. Even a small step will count. One account that becomes your resilience or your security account that you can build up 3 to 6 months of your family or your personal expenses. Have it saved there, have it in a higher interest account. And then if anything happens, whether you lose your job, whether things change in your relationship, you know that you've got 3 to 6 months worth of money already saved so that you can make a better informed decision, not a panicked one. And that's how you start to break financial dependence and work towards financial independence. And then this almost sounds like a contradiction, but not investing because you're scared. So many women hold back from investing because it feels risky, and it is. I'm not going to lie. Investing is risky, but not investing is also risky. And so maybe, as I just said earlier, rather than launching straight into the stock market, heavens forbid crypto, which is just really gambling in something that you don't understand. But of course, if you want to talk about property, you can talk to me about it. Start small. Start with that high rate savings account. Learn money management. Become conscious of your spending and use the workbook that goes with the course to grow your confidence until you feel ready, whether that's to invest in property or the stock market. And I would say property is safer at the moment. We know that we have a housing crisis in the UK. We know we've got 10 to 11 people queuing up for every property that comes to the market. And until the government finds some way for all the talk to build hundreds of thousands of houses a year, unlikely, then that's not going to change. Now, the stock market, as you know, is going up and down at the moment, and you would need a lot of nerve, the ability not to panic, especially if the share price actually drops below your buy-in value. So I would say let's start with these high rate savings accounts and then choose, what do you want to learn about? The stock market? Do you want to trade? Or do you want to hold stocks? Or do you want to learn about property? None of this is about gambling on prices. It's about building long-term financial security, because that's what we need. That's where confidence and independence comes from. And then I would say the last risk is looking to get everything done yourself, being the strong one. It's exhausting. And you are, aren't you? I was trying to be Superwoman instead of just a Superwoman when I was first struggling. And this is why I'm encouraging you to join the course, to introduce yourself, to connect with other women. Talk to friends about money. That's one way to stop having to do it all alone. But I would say be strategic who you talk to. Remember, not all your friends and family will be brave and action focused like you. Maybe they need to listen to this podcast, so you could share it with them and then discuss what you've heard with others that have listened. Or, of course, book a call with me. You don't have to go it alone. Now, as always, I want to thank you for listening to the podcast. We've been talking about the opportunities and, of course, the risks and how to mitigate them in this period of uncertainty. But I want to leave you with 3 clear points that you can take away that are going to add some more whoosh to your life. So here we go. Number 1, you do not need to be a financial expert. You need clarity about what you want, how you want to live your life. You need clarity about your financial situation. And then you need consistent control over your finances to make sure that you are paying attention to your income and your expenses. And consistency is key. And above all that, the courage to take action, the courage to go and watch that video, the courage to write down what you're spending and to monitor it. That's a big step for some people. Now, number two, there's no perfect time to start. There's just the right time. And that time is today, right after this podcast. Go into the show notes, download the video, start doing the exercises that I have put there for you. And when you come back, literally to next week's podcast, so much will have changed for you. You will have so much more clarity and so much more control over your money. You'll be glad that you started today. And number three, you deserve financial security. Not someday in the future, not when it's less crazy. You deserve financial security now. And if you're dependent on someone, you're unclear about your finances, you don't have your own reserve fund of 3 to 6 months' money, you might not be feeling secure. Again, there are resources out here, both in my community and through the video, that are here to help you take those steps that you deserve towards financial security. Not as some long distance goal, but right now, financial security within a month. You could do that if you start today. So if this podcast has resonated with you, take action right now. Go and watch the YouTube, download the workbook, take part in the activities, download some time in your diary to actually do this work because you need a bit of quiet time. You could do it easily over a couple of evenings in the week. You could do it on Saturday morning, maybe once you get rid of the kids, if you've got kids and they go off and do their activities. Leave the housework for 1 week and focus on your financial security. And then I would ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe. Please rate this podcast so others know that it's worth listening to. And a big ask here, tell a friend. If you're a man, share this with your partners, with your daughters, with your sisters. If you're a woman, share it again with your sisters and your daughters, maybe with your mother, but also tell a friend about this episode. Bring another woman along on the journey. And as always, I'm so proud of you for being here, for choosing to engage with your money, your future, to listen to this podcast. This is your ultimate act of power. And until next time, stay smart, stay secure, and go live a wealthy life. My name's been Vicky Wishay, and I will speak to you next week.